Welcome everyone to virtual VFS webinars. VFS stands for Volunteering for Seniors. These are the webinars all for senior citizens and their caregivers. Once again, good morning. This is Pratima Penumarthy, founder and president of Volunteering for Seniors organization. Our mission is to reduce loneliness and isolation among elders and help them stay more energetic. We aim at making sure that all the seniors, they blend into their communities without any difficulty. And we are achieving this through meaningful volunteering. We are dedicated to improving the lives of seniors in our community. Since 2021, the beginning of 2021, we have been conducting VFS virtual webinars, talk shows, conferences for senior citizens, keynote presentations, even general sessions, all that focuses on supporting health and self-care for seniors and their family caregivers, so for all older adults and individuals, any age, with or without dementia. To know more about our organization, I would definitely say, please visit our website, volunteeringforseniors.org. Without any more discussions about the organization, telling more, for now, I want to just talk about the topic that we're going to discuss today. The topic is how to age with prevented disease through healthy lifestyle. So just to talk about a little bit about this, as we age, our minds, bodies undergo a wide variety of mental, emotional, and physical changes. While some aspects of life may become more difficult, active living for older adults, which we have been seeing, is still well within reach. So let's explore the many ways that one can live a full, satisfying life well into your golden years. Let's learn how to protect and boost your immune system through important lifestyle behaviors like diet, exercise, and sleep. So for that, let's welcome Dr. Shikha Marshia. A little bit about Dr. Marshia. Welcome, Dr. Shikha.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Shikha Marshia is MBBS, and she's a board certified in internal medicine, and she is a diplomat of the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine. She's a primary care provider who counsels patients on lifestyle changes to manage illness that includes diabetes, hypertension, hypocholesterol, correct me if I'm wrong, obesity, and it's also related, I think, and it's related conditions since the year 2004. She's also a graduate of Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, India. There's many things to talk about. Shikha, quickly saying again that about what she has completed. She has completed a plant-based nutrition course, which is from E. Cornell Center for Nutrition Studies, and from Harvard Medical School's Culinary Health Education Fundamentals Coaching, and which is an evidence-based program that's completely focused on culinary coaching, I think with a novel approach to improve nutrition. Again, probably with respect to Shikha, I would only say that she has seen so much of chronic lifestyle diseases in her clinic, and she has heard in her family, friends, and community, and many of them also, she had an experience who had died from these, and all this had further inspired her to dive deeper into studying about healthy diets. And in the year 2020, she chanced upon, the Food Revolution Network, which is a virtual summit, and she heard a lot of speakers and subsequently registered for Lifestyle Medicine Conference. So let's start first with you, Dr. Shikha, very quickly. Of course, before you start your presentation, you have a lot of things to talk about us.
Yes.
Even under one of my just general question, which will be a part of your presentation, is, of course, what is lifestyle medicine and how does it benefit the elderly?
Yeah, so lifestyle medicine is a evidence-based branch or a specialty of medicine, you can say. And honestly, it's applicable to any specialty of medicine. It is about preventing, managing, and even reversing some diseases by healthy lifestyle changes like dietary changes, physical activity, good sleep, avoiding risky substances like smoking and alcohol, stress management, and social connection. So a lot of what you guys are doing in your organization already. So that's what lifestyle medicine, and it can prevent lots of the chronic diseases we see today.
Yeah, I think you can, could you just start with the presentation, because there are a lot of questions eventually Dr. Shikha will be asking, but yeah, we would love to start.
So I can share my screen. Second. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my topic is how to age without disease, prevention and healthy lifestyle. And as Pratima said, that I am a diplomate of the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm also board certified in internal medicine. Um, so, and these a lot of these slides are adapted from material from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine with permission, and other sources as well. Um, so one second, let me just try and see, advance my slides. How did you do that? Okay, so some housekeeping disclosures. There's no conflict of interest. I'm just doing this, to spread the message of healthy lifestyle. I'm a physician, again, not your physician. So again, this is for education purposes only. Please don't make any abrupt changes to any of my medications before talking to your own doctor. So what is healthy aging? WHO, so the World Health Organization defines healthy aging as the process of developing, maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being in our older age as well. So functional abilities, having the capabilities that all enable people to have, a good lifestyle. So they can do things that they value. They can meet their basic needs, learn to grow and make decisions, be mobile, build and maintain relationships, and contribute to the society. So I'm going to talk about the blue zones towards the end of my presentation as well. Blue zones are these areas in the world. They are 5 areas where people live well into their 90s without any disability. And this has been studied extensively by Dan Buettner and his colleagues. And these are Loma Linda in California, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, and Okinawa, Japan. So these are all diverse areas in different continents, and yet they have similarities. And there's people their age in one of the most healthiest ways. So I can talk about that at the end. What is our life expectancy? So more than 100 years ago, life expectancy in the US was about 50, and now it's about 80 years old. So definitely gone up, and this is all thanks to modern medicine, because we've developed vaccines over the decades, we've developed antibiotics, simple sterilization techniques. So people who would die of infectious diseases are no longer doing that. And also we've developed a lot of surgical procedures to prevent death. So again, life expectancy has increased. But what is the quality of life versus the quantity of life? Life expectancy now technically is about 77.9 or 78 years. But we only live about 66.2 years of those healthfully. And our impaired life years are about 11.7. So that's not a good statistic. And so again, goal of healthy lifestyle is to minimize those impaired years, right? And so to live most of your life in a healthy and meaningful, purposeful way. And so, okay, so where are we today? So the state of health in the US. This is, these pictures probably remind us of what a lot of people, they're gaining weight, they're sedentary, they're drinking sugary beverages. This picture shows that we're even walking our dogs in our cars. So what are the major causes of death in the US? This is 2018 statistics. Heart disease is the #1 killer. I think even with COVID, that's still heart disease is the #1 killer. Cancer, accidents, chronic lower respiratory diseases like lung diseases, and strokes or cerebrovascular disease, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. So these are your top leading causes of death. And this box shows that really, if you see diseases of the heart, cancer, and then medical care itself can cause death. So it's not like medicine is all without any problems. There's medication errors, there's unnecessary surgeries, there are preventable errors in the hospital, there are hospital-borne infections and medication side effects. So all of these can also lead to disease and death. And so then people who like to look at graphs, again, these are the distribution: heart disease, malignancies or cancers, accidents, lower respiratory disease, lung disease, strokes, Alzheimer's, diabetes, again, come out on top. And now, if you look at it in another way, what are the risk factors that cause all these diseases? So this graph shows risk factors. And this is data from 1990 to 2016. And if you look at the top 10 risk factors on the left, they're again, tobacco use, high blood pressure, high BMI, or which means being overweight or obese, high fasting blood sugar, total cholesterol, impaired kidney function, alcohol and drug use, and then air pollution, and then low physical activity. So amongst the top 10, most of them are modifiable, right? Again, even globally, so not just the US, again, heart disease, stroke, lower respiratory diseases, Alzheimer's, diabetes, they all come out on top. And then, Pratima, you were talking about disability. We want our seniors to age healthy. So disability in the US, 2 in 5 adults over the age of 65 have a disability, which is pretty bad, and 1 in 4 women have a disability. And then if you look at the minority groups, non-Hispanic American Indians, Alaskan Natives, 2 in 5 have a disability. And people who have a disability, they have obesity, they are more likely to smoke, they are more likely to have heart disease, and more likely to have diabetes. And then if you look at this graph, look on the bottom, the x-axis. So these are all the 7 top risk factors for heart disease, right? And the bars that are shown more in red means these risk factors are not very well controlled in the US. The bars shown in green means the risk factors are very well controlled. So if you see on the right, the cholesterol, blood pressure, and glucose are well controlled because we have drugs for these now. But healthy diet, physical activity, and body mass index are still not well controlled because this requires lifestyle modification and there's no miracle pill for it. This is just a very quick study. I'm not going to go on this slide. It's called the Inter-Heart Study. So this was a study done in 52 countries globally at every continent, and more than 30,000 people were studied. And they wanted to see what things are related to heart attacks. They didn't want to just use the Western countries. They wanted to use many countries. And it was published in a very prestigious journal called Lancet. And in this, if you see that line in the middle, the risk factors that have the spots on the right means they increase the risk of heart attacks. So smoking, diabetes, hypertension, abdominal obesity, psychological index, which means people who have more depression. And then on the bottom are fruits and vegetables, exercise, alcohol consumption in moderation. They reduce the risk of heart attacks. So again, risk factors for heart disease: high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, overweight, smoking, sedentary life, unhealthy diet, and stress. It is a silent killer. So I just want to highlight this, is that we think that, oh, we don't need to worry about it for our kids or when we're younger, but prevention can start at any age. In the 1950s, in the Korean War, about 30,000 American soldiers were killed. And sadly, they were all such young people. Their average age was only 22. And when these soldiers were autopsied, and they were supposedly healthy soldiers, 77% of them showed some evidence of heart disease. And 1 in 20 of these soldiers had 90% coronary blockages. So this was pretty shocking, because we think that in our 20s, we don't need to worry about lifestyle. And then again, in the bottom, Pratima, you and I are South Asian. Heart disease is even more common in South Asians in America. And these are the behaviors again, in pictures: high fat diet, high sugar, salt, sedentary lifestyle, smoking, and alcohol. And then dementia, we see a lot of our seniors who are disabled require chronic care. 1 in 5 Americans who are older than 65 have mild cognitive impairment, and 1 in 7 has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia. And by 2050, this is going to triple. And dementia costs are staggering, more than heart disease. The worldwide costs estimated in 2015 were over 800 billion. So I just, can imagine what they are now and what they will be in the next 20, 30 years. So dementia is one of the leading causes of disability and death. And Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. It is a progressive brain disorder that causes impairment of memory, mood, and problem solving. I'm sure most of us have been touched by dementia. We've seen it maybe in our loved ones, our family members, friends. If you're in the healthcare field, you've probably seen it in patients and clients, etc. And then there are some myths that I want to bust. A lot of people think, oh, Alzheimer's is mostly genetic. Less than 5% of Alzheimer's is genetic, and 95% is preventable. Then people think, oh, dementia just, I suddenly started, mom or dad or brother or sister started having symptoms. It starts at least 2 to 3 decades before the symptoms appear. So mild changes start in your 40s and 50s, and then they manifest in your 60s to 80s. And then we also think it has nothing to do with our daily lifestyle choices. So the risk factors are age. Of course, we can't do anything about that. We're all going to age. Family history definitely increases the risk. Genetics, again, but I want to emphasize less than 5% of Alzheimer's is genetic. Smoking, alcohol use, diabetes, hypertension, sedentary lifestyle, and even hearing loss. So, people who lose their hearing with aging can have some increased risk of dementia, and then traumatic brain injuries. And then obesity. Obese people are found to have less white matter, so their brains are more shrunk than normal weighted individuals. If you look at the brains of overweight people, their white matter or their brain volume is 10 years older of a lean person. So for example, if I'm 60 and I'm overweight, my brain will appear like a 70-year-old. And obesity appears to accelerate cognitive decline. Then again, a snapshot of diabetes. In America, 37 million people have diabetes, 96 million adults. So that's 1 in 3 people have pre-diabetes, and 80% people don't know they have pre-diabetes. And that is another thing. So when we're applying lifestyle principles, we have to start screening early. So the other thing in here is if you have pre-diabetes, all you do is start eating healthy and being more active, you cut your risk of developing full-blown diabetes by half. And if you do have diabetes, you're at 60% higher risk to die. Your medical costs are double that of a non-diabetic. So it's really staggering, and this is so easily preventable. And again, a little snapshot about South Asians. We are 7 times more likely to get diabetes than white Americans, despite that South Asians do smoke less, they have less obesity and less hypertension, but they have other risk factors. So, and why does diabetes cause disability? So if you look at this circle, there's stroke, heart attacks, they get peripheral artery disease, so they have disease in their legs, and lots of eye diseases, so diabetic retinopathy, cataracts, glaucoma. So diabetes is the leading cause of blindness in the US. Diabetic foot, people can get ulcers, nail disease, and which can lead to other complications. Diabetic nephropathy, which can then lead to them being on dialysis. And then again, disability. And then peripheral neuropathy, which can cause a lot of pain in your legs and again, cause you to be disabled. So all these things are linked. So here are just some maps. If you look on the left, in 1990, most states had less than 10% to 14% of obesity. And obesity is defined as a body mass index of above 30, which is your weight for your height. Then in 2010, the number started increasing, to 15 to 20%, and then 20 to 25% in some states. And then by 2010, lots of states had 25 to 30%, and some states even had more than 30% diabetes. So this cannot all be explained by genetics, right? And again, you look at these 2 maps on the left in 2011, the lighter yellow and green are less percentages of obese people. And then 2018, the map goes to orange and red. And if you see the regions, certain regions of the United States have more obesity and than other regions. For example, the South. And then you look at the correlation, look at vegetable intake in the US. So again, the South, the dark blue means these people. So there are more people who eat less than 1 vegetable a day. Okay. And the lighter the color, which means less people eat less than 1 vegetable. So more people eat more vegetables. And then same thing with fruit intake, where the darker blue means they're eating less than 1 fruit a day. And the lighter colors means the those states, they do have higher fruit intake. Physical activity, same thing. The darker reds are, they have significantly lower levels of physical activity than average US. And the darker blue here is better physical activity rates than the average. And the light blue means you have average amount of physical activity. So as we're seeing, I think in our state, in Massachusetts, we do have good levels of fruit, vegetable intake and activity. Then even short sleep duration is a big risk factor for dementia, obesity. And this shows, again, the darker the color, lesser the sleep duration, and that can affect health a lot. So this research, again, not going detail in this slide, it was a very key study published in a very prestigious journal called the New England Journal of Medicine. It was called the Diabetes Prevention Program. So the diabetes prevention study. And it showed, so what they did is they took 3 groups of people. One was placebo, they didn't do nothing. These were normal, healthy adults, or these were adults who had pre-diabetes. Then they put one group on just lifestyle modification and one group on metformin. And this was done in over 3,000 patients. So it's a big study. And it was published, as I said, in the New England Journal of Medicine. And so the lifestyle interventions were just simple. They just told patients to lose 7% of their body weight with a low calorie, low fat diet, and do 150 minutes of physical activity per week. And they taught them by lessons, behavior modifications, case managers worked with them, and they had group sessions. And then, so if you look at this graph, the placebo graph, lots of people went on to develop diabetes. Excuse me. The metformin group is in the red, and they had 31% reduction in development of diabetes. And then the lifestyle group had the least. They had 58% reduction in development of diabetes over 4 years. So it shows that lifestyle modifications are even more powerful than drugs. And then again, the CDC has reported on physical activity that active people actually have lower annual direct medical costs than inactive people. So just by becoming more active, we could cut medical costs, cut our disability. And again, in this, so this graph shows mortality or risk of death in overweight people. So if you're overweight, on the left, you see these bars are high. So these overweight people have the least amount, they have no healthy habits. And the healthy habits in this study were listed as eating 5 or more fruits and vegetables a day, exercising regularly, alcohol only in moderation, and not smoking. And then as you see, if you have one healthy habit, your risk of death gets cut in half. You have 2 healthy habits, even lower, 3 and 4. With each healthy habit you develop, you keep cutting your risk down of death. Even if you stay overweight, that's what it means. And again, pointing out very briefly about South Asians. South Asians are at much higher risk for heart attacks, 3 times the risk of white Caucasian men. And South Asian men and women are, again, their heart attacks are deadlier in this ethnic group. In America, more than any other ethnic group, even other Asians, 1 in 3 South Asians could die of heart disease before the age of 65. So they don't even get to become seniors. There's a lot of studies and push now to develop better screening programs for South Asians. So now I'm coming to lifestyle medicine. What is lifestyle medicine? So it is an evidence-based practice of helping people adopt and sustain healthy behaviors that affect their health and quality of life. And why is it important? As I just told you, all these staggering, depressing statistics. But this is what I'm giving hope to everybody. Lifestyle practices and health habits are, the most important health determinant. Changing our unhealthy behaviors is the key foundation to disease prevention and health promotion. So again, I just want to keep on bringing South Asians a little bit. We need to screen better, of course. So for Caucasians, a body mass index of above 25 is considered overweight, and above 30 is considered obese. But in South Asians, a body mass index of above 23 should be considered overweight, because South Asians develop diabetes so much earlier. And so again, this is, we see that the more we screen, the better we detect, and the better we can implement prevention. Yes. Should I proceed?
Yes.
So again, so how can lifestyle medicine help? So the foundation of lifestyle medicine was actually thousands of years ago. All right. So it says if we could give every individual the right amount of nourishment and exercise, which is not too little, not too much, we would have found the safest way to health. This was said by Hippocrates in 460 BC. So it was, thousands of years ago, he had these profound words. He's considered the father of medicine. Uh, and again, Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want a healthy society and, everybody to live longer and healthier lives, our families to be healthy, then we need to start making the change in ourselves. So how do we prevent heart disease? And so what percentage of heart disease can be prevented or delayed with our dietary choices and lifestyle modification? 70%. So that is a huge number. And so that's why I emphasize it so much. And so these are the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. Healthy eating is the number one, then physical activity, managing our stress, good relationships, good sleep, and avoiding risky substances. So we want to eat more plants, which is fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds. Keep moving, sleep well, be present in the moment, stay calm, and love people. So the first thing is nutrition. Again, best way to prevent and treat disease without medical or surgical intervention, because again, as I said before, medical care itself is a third leading cause of death in the US. And again, Hippocrates, I quote him, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. So use your food as medicine. So the American College of Lifestyle Medicine recommends eating plan based on minimally processed vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, which are beans and lentils, nuts and seeds. Eating whole plant foods is a great way to get more nutrition with less harm and to prevent, treat, and some diseases can even be reversed. So if you look on the left, we want you to eat more vegetables, mushrooms, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and avoid sugary drinks, processed meat, processed snacks like chips, crackers, cakes, pastries, desserts, and dairy, especially high-fat dairy with added salt and sugar. So like dairy-based desserts like ice creams and other red meats, poultry, and eggs. So this is a picture of all the foods that a lot of Americans eat, but should not be eating at all. And so again, food for thought, I belabor the point, our leafy greens are really considered superfoods. You can choose anything, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, cabbage, collard greens, and then, your garlic, onions, your starchy vegetables, all of them, fruit, every fruit has some benefit. Legumes, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, white beans, anything, soybeans, whole grains only, not white or processed grain, nuts and seeds. And then dairy, I just wanted to dedicate a slide to dairy because, it is the biggest source of saturated fat in America because of just the volume consumed. So for example, 1 ounce of beef has the same amount of fat as 1 cup of milk, 2% milk. And then dairy also has lactose, which is a natural sugar found in milk. And 60% of humans are just naturally lactose intolerant. So we're just really not meant to consume dairy. And dairy these days is even worse because of hormones. Industrial dairy farming practices keep cows pregnant and lactating in a cycle all the time. They're injected with hormones to enhance their milk production. And even if they're not injected, their inherent estrogens are so high because they constantly kept pregnant and lactating to produce more milk. So when we're consuming that, we're getting all those hormones. Then casein is the milk protein, and casein is got a purpose. It's meant to grow a baby calf really fast. So now since it's got those growth factors, it can make things grow in humans as well, such as cancers, especially breast cancer and other hormone dependent cancers like prostate cancer. And then pus, so antibiotics, since cows are milked so much, they often have infected udders. There's a lot of pus that's released in milk. Then they're given antibiotics to prevent infection. So those antibiotics are then released in milk. So that's not a great idea. Then again, it's not just enough to be vegetarian. Being vegetarian is not enough. Junk food vegetarians, I've come across a bunch, and even in our South Asian diets, we can include a lot of processed food, packaged foods, fried foods. So, for example, we can take, you know, wheat and process it until we make wheat-based desserts, adding oil and things like that, or take a healthy potato and fry it and make it, you know, um, unhealthy. So this is what American College of Lifestyle Medicine says our plate should look like. Any diet, whenever you go on any healthy eating program, they say half your meal has to be vegetables and fruit. Um, then quarter of your meal should be healthy protein. And American College of Lifestyle Medicine says plant proteins only. And then the quarter should be a complex carbohydrate like whole grains only. And ideally, dairy caloric consumption should be 10% of fat, so very low fat diets, 10% protein. And actually only 5 to 6% is required, but still, this country and most other cultures are pretty protein obsessed. And 80% should be complex carbs, so real foods like vegetables, fruits, tubers, legumes, brown rice, whole grains. So we need, in our country, we're fiber deficient. We need really 50 grams of fiber a day, and very few Americans will achieve that fiber consumption. So then is activity, our next pillar. Our activity guidelines are any adult needs moderate intensity, 150 to 300 minutes a week, or vigorous intensity of 75 to 150 minutes a week, and also 2 days of strength training. But being more physically fit than whatever your baseline is, just good. Any exercise is better than none. Definitely work. I mean, if you're more sedentary or you have some disability, work with your physical therapist or doctor or orthopedic, but definitely get moving. So moderate physical activity means brisk walking. You can do heavy cleaning like washing your windows, vacuuming, mopping your floors, mowing your lawn, light biking, badminton, tennis doubles. Those are all moderate. Vigorous activities are jogging, hiking, shoveling snow, carrying heavy loads, fast biking, basketball games, soccer, and singles tennis. So those are some high intensity activities. And actually, there was the guidelines released from the American College of Sports Medicine just this year, saying that for type 2 diabetes, we don't even want to say exercise. We want to say move more. So just reduce your sedentary time. Just engage in any physical activity. Break up your sitting time. So if you're sitting at a desk or you're constantly sitting and watching TV, just get up and take frequent breaks. Do regular aerobic exercise like walking, or just, as I said, biking or anything. And after every meal, try and walk. So if you're sedentary, start with just low impact flexibility exercises. Start doing balancing exercises so you don't fall, and then you can increase your activity. And then again, other activity types, you can do dancing, biking, hiking, play sports, play with your kids, your grandkids. And strength training means weightlifting, you can pushing a wheelchair, a stroller, using kettlebells, resistance bands, just sit-ups, squats. So honestly, exercise doesn't have to cost any money at all. And flexibility exercises, stretching, yoga. And honestly, yoga probably encompasses everything. It encompasses cardio, strength, flexibility, and balance. So that would be a great practice to include. And then good sleep. So sleep is so important for human health that we give it, and most of us don't give it much importance. And physicians are especially bad, because when we're in training or working in the hospital, we barely sleep. But it can cause sluggishness, low attention span, a depressed mood, and then also can pack on your pounds. It decrease calorie burn, increase hunger, insulin resistance, and many other things, and it can increase the risk of dementia. So what disrupts our sleep? If we eat close to our sleep time, or eating, drinking, and just go to sleep, so that's terrible. Blue light, which we all do now, phone, computer, TV screens, close to sleep time is terrible. Caffeine and alcohol. And alcohol, I know a lot of people think, oh, I use alcohol to sleep, but alcohol is a sleep disruptor. Then stress, anxiety, very, very common in today's world. Just noisy environments, too hot or too cold temperature, And then that lack of daylight sunlight. So like if you get up and you're working in a dark environment, so it's good to get out. Then even certain medications can disrupt your sleep. And sometimes you just your pets, your bed partners can be, disruptive. So what should you do? So use your bed for sleep and have the same sleep schedule. Try and always say, I'm going to go to bed at this time and wake up at this time, even on the weekends. Minimize your lights and noises. Get out in the sun during the day, move during the day. Don't have any caffeine afternoon time. Don't have alcohol 3 hours before bed, and avoid high sodium foods. So like your chips and crackers and cheese and all that. So those kind of, and meditation can really help with helping sleep. And then substances, which we all know that they're bad, but tobacco and drinking too much alcohol increases the risk of death and diseases. So we want to, and alcoholic drinks, the guidelines are that men should not drink any more than 4 drinks on a given day, and no more than 14 drinks a week, and women no more than 3 drinks a day and no more than 7 drinks a week. But recent studies have shown that really no amount of alcohol is safe, and the more alcohol we drink, the more brain shrinkage we have. So it's not, if you don't drink, please don't take up drinking for health. If you drink, just drink in the lowest amounts. And then stress reduction, a very big part of our lives these days is stress. Stress is unavoidable, but we have to react to it and think about it differently. There are medications to manage stress, anxiety, and depression. But I think everybody should try and implement lifestyle changes in addition, in case they do need medication. So partner with your healthcare provider. The biggest way to help stress is connect with others. So get involved with activities. Try healthy ways to relax, like go exercise, dancing, meditation, yoga. Do creative hobbies and activities. Keep a gratitude journal. Take care of your spiritual needs. Join a spiritual group. Laugh. See funny movies or funny books. Avoid caffeine and alcohol. Deep breathing exercises. Can get massages. And again, this all sounds like, oh, what is this? But it really does make a difference. And then there are also some good stress. For example, like if you're trying to learn a new language, you can really improve your brain health. Studying for an exam, public speaking, accomplishing a challenging goal. These are great. This is good stress. So because then you're goal oriented and your brain perceives it differently. And negative or bad stress is long-term anxiety or things that cause distress to people, worry. So then people need to come up with plans to cope, either with professional help or on their own. And so then look at your events and triggers, see how you can improve your mood, and then try and focus on, again, gratitude, positive stuff, accomplishments, and see what you can overcome. And then social connections, very important to healthy aging. Social connections and relationships do affect our physical, mental, and emotional health. And research shows that actually there was a big study done at Harvard, a very long study, that showed the single most important predictor of happiness and long life is having strong social connections. So even things like blood pressure, heart rate, it got better with better positive social connections. So what can we do? What Pratima, your organization, is doing, volunteer. Helping other people improves your own health, increases happiness, and allows you to meet new people. Connect with community resource centers. You can find an online community who share the same interests as you, maybe like, a book club or anything. You can join a religious group, help a local pet shelter, animal shelter, go to sporting events, music performances, attend lectures, organize community events, then attend celebrations like walks in your town, parades, and you can take a course at your library, at a local community college. Ask your employer for ways to increase social connections at work. So, interact with co-workers socially as well. And then stay positive. So again, negative connections are not good. Make and spend time with people, and be flexible, be there for people who need you. So the one thing I want to say, social media and depression. So while social connections are great, Social media is not so great. There are studies that have found that people who spend more time on social media have more depression. So use technology just to benefit you. I know in during COVID lockdowns, we needed technology, which was great, but now we're able to see people in person, so that would be better. So what are my take home messages? Again, the 6 pillars of lifestyle, please apply them. Genes are not your destiny. So genes, if you know, in our very American term, genes only load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. There's a whole area of research called epigenetics. So genes need to be expressed for them to cause disease, right? So a diet which is high in animal-based proteins can alter genetic expression and causes the development of some cancers, heart disease, strokes, etc. Uh, so if you consume a diet free of animal products, refined carbs, and added fats, avoid alcohol, and abundant exercise, we can actually keep our genes dormant. So even if our family members have certain diseases, we don't need to get them. So these are the healthy habits. Again, no smoking, lower BMI, more than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, one or less alcoholic drink per day. I always say none is better. More than 150 minutes of exercise per week. And these are some more resources. If anybody wants to dive deeper, I would recommend strongly these 3 movies: Forks Over Knives, Plant Pure Nation, and The Game Changers. I think they're either online or on Netflix. And then read the book The China Study and Your Body in Balance, by these very luminary researchers and physicians. And again, I come back to the blue zone. So those 5 blue zones we saw in the world, they have these 9 principles. They move naturally. They don't go to the gym and pump iron all day. They have purpose in their life. So they, in Okinawa, Japan, they call it, I think, ikigai. So what's my purpose? Why do I wake up every day? And it be it like I need to raise my children well, that I need to help my neighbor, whatever purpose can be big or small. Then they downshift. So as the day goes down, they calm down, they just de-stress. And then the 80% rule, that they eat healthy 80% of the time, and plants land. So they all shared one thing: they all eat mostly plant-based diets. Meat is a part of their diet, but very rarely. um, they maybe eat meat once a week, and in very small portions. And then they do drink some alcohol in moderation, like especially in Italy and Greece. Except the Loma Linda Seventh Day Adventists, they don't drink any wine, but the Mediterranean folks drink some wine in the evening. They have the right tribe, so which means that they have a community that they connect with very regularly, and they put their loved ones first. So they have very caring communities for their children, their adults, their seniors, their other family members, and they feel a sense of belonging. So this whole circle completes their that's why they live long. They live for 90 plus years with not much disease. So again, eat real food. If you look on the left, carrots are extremely healthy. They're raw. Then carrot salad, you can make that, process it minimally, add some more vegetables and spices to it. Then carrot juice is more processed. Now you're taking out the fiber and concentrating the sugar, so less healthy. And you're making carrot halwa or a pudding. Now you're adding butter, sugar, and now you're making it much less healthy. So eat as unprocessed as you want. And then again, some ideas, lentil salad, a sprouts chart. You can layer your hummus with lots of vegetables, and eat healthy snacks. And again, lots of resources, websites you can go to for lots of information. And Pratima, if anybody wants to, I could email them to people, or you can. And the conclusion is, so Dr. Dean Ornish is considered the father of modern lifestyle medicine. And he said, one of the most important implications of this new unifying theory of lifestyle medicine is we shouldn't see that, oh, heart disease is one bucket and diabetes is another and Alzheimer's is a third. They're all the same fundamentally. And they're just diverse manifestations of the same disease process inside. And so the same lifestyle changes can help, prevent most of these diseases, even cancers. And so if you look at modern medicine, we're too busy mopping, like the faucet is running and flooding our floors, and we're just mopping the floor. All we have to do is turn off the source of disease, turn off that faucet, and we will prevent disease and disability. So thank you. This is my husband, who is also board certified in lifestyle medicine. He and I both practice this in our regular practices. So thanks for coming. And
Thank
Pratima,
you,
I'm
Shikha.
open for questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Shikha. I have a couple of questions because when I was listening, I was noting certain points. I wanted to really ask you about this. I mean, again, to the viewers, after I ask some questions to Dr. Shikha, this will be open for all of you to please ask any questions. Um, my first question is, I've been always, there's a difference between the lifestyle medicine and there's something called integrative medicine, right, Dr.
Mhm.
Shikha? Because I know, as per as little knowledge I know and what I heard is that integrative medicine means it looks at the mind, body, right? It has
Yes.
a similar outlook like in mind, body, and soul of a patient to promote overall health. So what is the actual difference between lifestyle medicine and integrative medicine?
So I think there are different paths. Lifestyle medicine is, I think, so integrative medicine looks at other areas of medicine, like Eastern medicine practices, like Chinese medicine, Ayurveda,
Mhm.
and you said mind body medicine.
Mind, body, yeah.
Um, they also promote healthy lifestyle as the core of everything. But as I said, they look more at the Ayurveda and ancient Chinese medicine as well, in addition to Western medicine. Lifestyle medicine is just more evidence based, um, and it focuses a lot on these 6 core principles that I talked about. But they're very intersecting, they're very similar. A lot of lifestyle physicians that I know are also integrated medicine specialized. So they
Oh,
go hand in hand in a way.
also, I've seen one more thing, Shika, is that how does this lifestyle medicine, it does align with the osteopathic medicine, right? Because osteopathic medicine and they're all, if you look at it, basically extremely, they're similar, I feel, because
Yeah.
the determinants of health, they always speak very strongly to when they speak with respect to the tenets of osteopathic medicine. So that's again another thing, if you could just give a little
Yeah, so
highlight on.
actually, so osteopathic medicine, and so I'm considered an MD or MBBS, but physicians who graduate from, and I'm MD as well. Physicians who graduate from here have 2 paths. They're osteopathic medical schools, and they go to MD or regular traditional Western medical schools. Um, so osteopathic medicine has a more focus on, you're right, the holistic approach, movement, looking at the body as a whole. But in the end, they still go to the same residency programs, do the same specialties. But osteopaths are, they are very much focused on movement and looking at the body as a whole, versus Western medicine.
Oh, I see. I mean, you covered a lot about diet, Dr. Shikavan. That was
Yeah.
wonderful. That was very, very helpful. But do you think that this lifestyle medicine, for this is a general question for many seniors too, because we have seniors
Mhm.
here who have a question: is it covered by their insurance? Like if they go with this?
So yeah, for example, I practice in a regular internal medicine practice, and I just counsel patients on these principles of lifestyle medicine. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so Dr. Dean Ornish, who I mentioned many times, is the father of modern lifestyle medicine. His program, he actually spent 16 years fighting with Medicare. But if you go to ornish.com, you can see it's fully covered. So he has a program for reversing heart disease, I think. And he's shown it actually with angiograms, where he's shown that people's coronary blockages have opened up with lifestyle. So his program is covered by Medicare. There's another program called the CHIP, or Complete Health Improvement Program, is covered by insurance. I just counsel patients on these principles in my regular practice. We
Mm.
do not have enough time, unfortunately, but I just try to incorporate pretty much lifestyle advice in every visit that I can.
I have another question that maybe you have covered when you're talking about it in general. What is the downside of the conventional medicine that people generally we go, right? I mean, you have of course explained that the diet and how you have exercise, all this. What is the basic downside when generally people
Yeah.
just go with the conventional?
So first of all, I am a right. So I'm a complete practitioner of Western modern medicine as well. It's not so there's, I mean, and there's it goes hand in hand. Honestly, I think, like, for example, if somebody comes with really high uncontrolled hypertension, I'm not going to say, oh, go and eat less salt. They need to lower their blood pressure now. So I use medication, and most doctors should, So I will use medication to lower their blood pressure. If they are having they're having chest pain, I will send them to the hospital to get evaluated for cardiac issues. So modern medicine is really, really good at preventing acute like death. So if I'm having chest pain, modern medicine will help save me. They'll help me put the stent. But if then it should be based on the principle of lifestyle medicine. Now those patients should apply so I think they go hand in hand. The physicians who just say, oh, you have high cholesterol, let me put you in medication, but don't counsel on diet at all. So that's the problem. Or like, yeah, here, take another blood pressure pill. Your blood pressure is high, let me give you a third pill. So you're like, so instead of that, you don't look at it like, are you stressed out? Are you eating restaurant food every day? Are you bringing McDonald's home every day? What are you doing? uh, I'll give you medication, but you need to also change all that stuff. And the problem is that in the US, most medical students are given about, I think they said 2 to 3 hours of nutrition education, less than 20 hours of nutrition education in their whole 4 years, which is extremely low. So doctors don't know. I didn't know this until I chanced upon it by chance. Um, so it's really sad. Physicians mean well, but modern medicine's great at preventing acute illness and saving lives. But then, we just go on living in disability with chronic illness. So I think we should use them hand in hand.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Also, because there's a question, because with respect to seniors, what we have seen too when we volunteer, we see, of course, a lot to do with the cognitive health, right? So
absolutely.
that's where, of course, the ability to think, to remember, and as you were explaining about when it comes to Alzheimer's or any other type of dementia, they're experiencing, modest changes too, right, in memory and thinking. So what are the different factors which you did explain, but could you just run in just what are some factors that affect cognitive health?
Right. So as I said in my presentation too, the biggest thing. So when it's really sad, because when we start seeing patients and their family members bring them in, they're already experiencing cognitive decline, right? So now, some daughter is coming in or son is coming in, that mom or dad, they were wandering off, they don't remember what they ate for lunch, they forgot my name. So by then it's a little bit late. uh, you know so prevention, but there's still hope. I mean, if people continue to eat health, if where there's very, very slight mild cognitive decline, we can start eliminating fat. So start eliminating your meat and processed food and fried food, sugary drinks, and start adding in lots more fruits and vegetables. Start walking every day. I think there's a recent study even said that when you have very mild cognitive decline, if you start exercising, you can slow down the cognitive decline.
Yeah,
There's really no good drug to
correct.
slow it down. I mean, we have Aricept and Namenda, but what do? They slow it down very little. So yeah, so I think the biggest thing is to change your diet and start
Mhm.
exercising. And then the other thing is also to sleep well. A lot of people don't sleep very well,
Mm.
because while we sleep, a lot of the toxins from the brain are cleared. So those things can really help prevent and slow down cognitive decline.
And also, as you mentioned about learning new skills can help them cognitive
Hugely,
learning,
yes. A
right?
meaningful skill. So, like, say I retired, you can learn a musical instrument. You can say, I'll take up a new language. I had two really, really cute patients many years ago. They were elderly. And what they did is they started taking classes at Harvard. And I said, why are you going to Harvard? They're like, we're just taking their extension classes, something that, so one of them was studying European art history, and one of them started studying, I think, ancient Asian cultures, or just something they wanted to do, and they never had time as younger people. So that challenged their brain. It got them out, probably made friends in their classes. So it was, it's that
Yeah.
really also helps.
So I think I want to open now for our viewers if they want to ask Dr. Shika any questions.
Sure.
Thanks for a great talk. I think, one of the things in terms of dementia that you were mentioning, we're really at our infancy of learning about this and the reversibility of diseases associated with adopting lifestyle changes. We used to think that once you have any kind of neural injury or neural loss, that there's no growth or very, very slow regrowth of neurons. But we know through neuroplasticity and the epigenetics and stuff that that there is actual neural regrowth. And as with Ornish, in terms of the unifying theory, I really think that the cornerstone of the unifying theory is it's a vascular phenomena. Everything is a vascular phenomena. You need to have good plumbing in your body. You need to maintain good patent blood vessels so that there's adequate blood flow to all your vital organs, whether it's your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, all these areas, your muscles, all these things need good blood supply to keep all these end organs functioning well. And a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle helps you maintain good patent blood vessels, which is the key cornerstone for maintaining good health. So, we're all worried about mental frailty and memory loss and things like that. But the same thing that you're going to do to help reverse diabetes or hypertension or hypercholesterolemia or heart disease, that very same thing is going to potentially reverse or correct even memory loss things. We don't know yet, but it probably will help with that. When I went through medical school, we didn't realize that diabetes was reversible. Once you got diabetes, you had diabetes for life. You were on one medicine or another medicine, and then once the medications, oral pills stopped working, then you're on insulin. Now we're talking about reversing diabetes. So once you have diabetes, you can actually, through your diet, get it so that you can go off of medications altogether. And a successful reversal once you've been off of medications for what, a year, right?
Yeah, successful reversals if you're off of medications with normal numbers for 1 year. That means you've reversed your diabetes. You can do that now. Yeah.
I mean, if you can reverse diabetes, if you can reverse coronary artery disease, I mean, those are things which we thought were never possible before, right?
Right.
Maybe even correct for.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Ornish is undergoing he is conducting a large study where they are looking at reversing dementia as well, but that's under study, so it's not been proven yet. Currently, we just think the dementia is just progressive, will always progress, so we don't know.
Yeah,
but as you mentioned, and as Dr. Vikas was also mentioning, Dr. Vikas Marcia, thank you very much for pitching in so many extra points, Dr. Vikas. And as I really enjoyed, because in every part here we are understanding, and also I personally feel that lifestyle medicine is the perfect foundation for for redesigning, or what do you call that, value
Medicine.
It's equitable healthcare delivery system, which is definitely looking at the whole person healthy lifestyle. Really amazing, because it is presenting, and I'm pretty sure that even people who haven't heard about it before, it is presenting a very challenging approach also to address prevention and treatment of non-communicable diseases, right? And the most the prevalent causes are of course causes for increased morbidity, right, and mortality around the world, which is happening now. I really hope that everyone understands the value and the importance of lifestyle medicine. Is there anyone else, before I would love to just conclude? Is there anyone who wants to ask any question to Dr. Marcia?
I'll ask another question.
Yes.
Why is it a higher risk for South Asians for diabetes and for heart disease? You're saying that majority of them don't get to live beyond 65. Is that what you said?
1 in 3 adults before 65 can die of heart disease. Yep. It's a really sad number.
What do you think contributes to that? Why?
Again, it's not on the top of my head, but I do have another whole presentation on South Asians as well. But I think it's some of it is like South Asians do have a lot more abdominal obesity, and abdominal fat can have a lot of inflammatory markers. Then also, I think South Asians are more sedentary. And South Asians, although they're vegetarian, a lot of South Asians do have a lot of high-fat dairies, fried snacks, and sugary food in their diet. So their diets are, although vegetarian, but not the healthiest. And then some South Asians who have moved to the US have a culture or become integrated into the Western society. So they've also started eating animal products now. So then their diets have become even worse. So those are some of the factors. There are studies that have been done. I think one is called the Masala study, which was a very big study in America done on South Asian. So yeah, I can definitely talk
Because
about that in another
that's
presentation.
the
But
Yeah,
that's
I
the
was thinking that it's a combination of the high fat dietary habits plus
yeah,
the sedentary that we see most of the South Asian
yeah,
contribute to their own lifestyle and then cause these kind of
no,
yes.
I think
effects on their body.
as Dr. Shikha was explaining is that it's one is sedentary because I don't completely agree that it is South Asians are more sedentary than Caucasians. I've seen either way, they're more.
No, no,
But
no. Oh, so the most sedentary country in the world is the US.
yeah, exactly. Because we
Yeah.
see here is a lot of people who don't want to do exercise. In fact, I've seen a lot of South Asians, running around doing so many exercises. But as you clearly mentioned, there's so many other factors which
Yeah.
probably the genetic, who knows, right? So
That's what, no, so that's what I'm saying. Genetics is there. Like, Indians pack or South Asians pack on more weight in their abdominal region. Okay. So that's why Asians and South Asians should be considered overweight at body mass index of 23, not 25, which is for
Mhm.
Caucasians. So we really need to try to drive our weight lower. And then South Asians above BMI of 27 should be considered obese, not above BMI of 30. So screening should start earlier. We should aim for a lower weight and really really focus on diet, and so that's what I think we should do. I mean, I can definitely dive deeper into this
Sure.
and do another presentation if you want
Yeah,
another
we
time.
definitely need another presentation where we can just focus more onto South Asians too,
Sure.
just to check about their lifestyle and,
Yeah.
how we can work on their strategies. I think looking at the time, I just want to just conclude for this wonderful presentation. Again, I would love to first thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Shikha and Dr. Vikas Marshia too. Thank you for pitching in extra points to here. And thanks again to all the viewers. That a simple thing what I have learned today is that it has shown lifestyle medicine has shown to be, of course, number one, more cost-effective strategy than the approaches which is currently used in disease prevention and treatment, particularly coming to the chronic pathologies. And in this day and age, healthy spending is rationalized and available resources are put to optimal use. So lifestyle medicine.
Pratima, one second. Shashikala raised her hand. She has a question, I believe.
Yeah.
Shashi, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Dr. Shikha and Pratima. I have a question. As you were telling that there is a regarding nutrition and all, right? So will there be any importance, especially regarding the local food which is available? See, as nowadays it is global, market is global, we are getting everywhere everything. So will there be any benefit of local food or not?
Absolutely. I mean, if local foods are more in season, they're more nutritious, they are less expensive, they're more environmentally sustainable. So if I'm eating quinoa here because I live closer to the South America, it's great. If you're living in India and you have millet or barley or brown rice, it's great. It's whatever's in season, whatever is local, whatever is, I mean, of course, if you can afford organic, that's great. If you cannot, that's still eat fruits and vegetables, doesn't matter. Yes, so local food is preferred. I mean, there's no evidence that it's more healthy, but it's just healthy because it's easier, it's more in season, so I'm sure there's more nutrients in it than the frozen and shipped foods from other countries. So yeah, that way.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Shika, I have a question. I was following a high protein diet to lose weight. I've fallen off the wagon and gained weight. So with this particular diet, there were no fruits, just vegetables and meat. Now, in order to lose weight, am I still going to be able to lose weight without eating the protein of meat and strictly fruits and vegetables?
Absolutely. So that is the other thing, or that is actually the number one question I get from all my patients and everybody. Like, where do you get your protein, right? So protein is in everything in plants. So all your broccoli has lots of protein, beans, kidney beans, white beans, your kale, collard greens, even whole wheat, brown rice, potatoes, everything has protein. Also to think, just think about, where did the cow, the chicken, the pig get their protein? They eat leaves and grains and plant-based stuff. So yes, we can get protein from the protein requirement for us is only 0.8 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So it's 0.4 milligrams per pound of body weight. So whatever you're in pounds, you multiply that by 0.4. And so yes, you can. And that's the other big myth, that we think fruit is bad for us. A lot of us go on keto diets or paleo diets, and they say, oh, stop all fruit because there's sugar. So the sugar that is bad is refined sugar, syrups, processed packaged foods. A whole fruit is not bad at all. A whole fruit is packed with blueberries literally have potential to reverse cancer and heart disease. Apples. So again, seasonal fruit is better. If you don't have seasonal fruit, eat any. They're extremely high in fiber. I didn't even touch upon the gut microbiome. There are trillions of bacteria and fungi and bugs that live in our colon, which pretty much control most of our brain health now that there's research. And if we feed our gut microbiome high fiber whole plant foods, that is the most thriving way to keep our guts from having autoimmune disease, keep ourselves from colon cancer. I've seen some patients, or again, this is anecdote, this is not studies. Some of my patients who've been on keto type diets, high fat diets, they've actually had strokes. They've had blood clots. So they did lose weight, but then they got all this other stuff. It's not really, plant-based diets are extremely healthy, and you can easily lose weight on them if you keep them whole plant-based and not with processed food.
So are you saying, I guess, so this one was a protein larger than a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
So the protein was higher than the vegetable.
Yeah.
So would the weight loss be slower without that meat protein?
Generally not, because we think of meat only as protein. Meat is packed with saturated fat as well, and fat. Even what we call lean protein, like chicken and turkey, etc. And processed meats, I didn't even mention, are group 1 carcinogens. So the World Health Organization told in 2015, they reviewed, I think, 800 studies, that deli meats like sliced meats, bacon, sausages, hot dogs, salami, those things are all processed, smoked and cured meats, are as cancer causing as cigarettes. So no, weight loss is pretty good. As long as I said, you keep whole foods and you do not add any butter and oil in the foods and eat them minimally processed, weight loss is very easy. I mean, it's not very easy. Weight loss is never easy, but it can happen.
I appreciate it. This has been great. Thank you.
I think a good way to think about it is nutrient dense foods versus calorie dense foods. Yeah. When you're eating processed foods, fats, and meats, you're eating more calorie dense foods than you are nutrient dense foods. So if you look at a bowl of salad and a bowl of meat, or even a chicken or pasta or something, right? Look at the calories differences that you're going to get between the two. To a large extent, it's the food you eat, the gut microbiome that you have, but then it's also your caloric intake, how many calories you're eating. You're going to eat a larger volume of food with lower calories, eating a mostly whole food plant-based diet, than you will eating a ketogenic diet or a Atkins diet or a paleo diet. And they've actually studied all these different diets, and you'll lose weight with every single diet out there. But are you going to be healthier by all the other diets? No, this is actually the only diet where you're going to be healthy. You'll reverse disease and you'll lose weight in a sustained manner. Yeah. The other diets, you tend to lose weight quicker, but you lose more water weight than you do actual fat weight. So the whole food plant-based diet actually helps you lose fat weight, whereas all the other diets, you primarily you lose water weight initially, and then you lose some fat weight. And that's why you gain the weight back very quickly also.
Very quickly. Yes, that's true. I agree with that. Now, is there gut health related to, say, Alzheimer's?
Well, hugely. And I think that's all research that's coming out. because when we feed our guts processed and meat-based foods, there are lots of the bacteria or the fungi or whatever's in the gut produces certain chemicals, some nitrates and other things that can cross the blood-brain barrier and cause damage.
I see.
That's fun guy.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alison, for asking.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank
Thanks.
you. I think because of time constraint and everything, I'm so sorry we had to a little bit push the time today.
No
But
problem.
I think we just want to conclude by saying that wonderful. Thank you so much. It was so much informative session. Lifestyle medicine, it does have a wonderful potential to notably increase. And I believe everyone here agrees to that notably increase the indicators of physical and mental health and everyone's quality of life. I would
Yes.
like to thank again Dr. Shikha. It was a wonderful, and again, quickly telling about how people can approach for learning more about such wonderful webinars. Please check our VFS YouTube channel, the Volunteering for Seniors YouTube channel. And our goal here is to connect people, of course, seniors, to resources that promote aging with independence and increase community awareness of aging issues and generate community-based solutions to these issues. So thank you everyone being here today, and we would love to see you again for our next webinar. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Pratima. Thank you, everybody.